On that morning, Medina was not just waiting, it was longing. Every heart beat faster with hope.
Even the children climbed to the rooftops, searching the horizon for the one they loved without yet seeing.
Young and old, men and women, all stood still, their eyes fixed on the horizon, their hearts racing. They were not waiting for a king. They were waiting for light to enter their city. This was no ordinary morning. This was the day darkness would be replaced by guidance. And then the whisper turned into a cry. He is coming! He is coming! With just those words, every house in Medina filled with joy. Children climbed the rooftops, their voices rising in joy. One question filled every heart. When will our waiting end? Medina stood still, as if even the wind was waiting. And then, in the distance, a cloud of dust rose from the desert floor.
Slowly, shapes began to form. A caravan moving toward destiny. And at the center of that caravan was the one they had waited for.
When they saw him, their emotions could no longer be contained.
It was as if a light had entered Medina, and even the sun seemed dim beside it.
Leaders of every tribe stepped forward, each one longing for the same honor.
Some reached for the reins, hoping destiny would stop at their door.
But with gentle wisdom, he said, "Leave her. She is commanded." And suddenly, thousands fell silent. Every eye turned to the legs of one camel, waiting for Allah's decree. Qaswa walked slowly, left, right, but she did not stop.
Each time she passed a house, hearts filled with hope, and then quietly broke.
And then she entered the neighborhood of Banu Najjar. And suddenly, she knelt. Among the wealthy and powerful, Allah chose a humble home. Among the powerful leaders of Medina, the honor was given to a humble servant.
He felt as if the moon had fallen into his courtyard. With trembling hands, he lifted the belongings, as if carrying something sacred.
The wealthy leaders stepped back, understanding that destiny had spoken.
That day, it felt as if the moon itself had descended into his home. The house was simple, 2 stories high, but its walls now carried the greatest honor. With deep humility, he requested, "Please stay above us." His heart could not accept that he would walk above the Messenger of Allah.
But he chose the lower floor for the ease of the people who would come. Though it was difficult, he obeyed. Because love obeys.
Night fell over Medina, but sleep did not come to their eyes. They felt uneasy. Walking above him felt unbearable. They clung to the walls, walking only along the edges of the room. What if even the slightest sound disturbs him?
Their comfort meant nothing compared to his honor.
And then, in the silence of the night, the water vessel overturned.
If even a single drop falls below, it would be unbearable.
There was no extra cloth, only the quilt they used to survive the winter.
Without thinking of themselves, they pressed the quilt against the floor.
They shivered in the freezing night, but their hearts were at peace. From that day on, their home became a place of service. Their eyes were fixed on every detail, every comfort, every need.
They would wait, not to eat first, but to eat after him.
They searched for the very place from which he had eaten. This was not show. This was love that lived in the heart.
Medina was filled with spiritual peace, but life was not easy. The sun burned fiercely. The ground almost cracked beneath their feet. There were days when even the greatest among them felt the pain of hunger.
Yet their faith did not weaken. Their trust did not fade. Peace filled their hearts, even when their stomachs were empty.
Under the burning noon sun, two of Islam's greatest leaders stepped out Turk, not for power, but because of hunger. There was nothing in their homes to eat, yet their dignity remained unbroken. And then they met him on the same road. What has brought you out in this heat? By the one in whose hand is my soul, the same hunger brought me out. Together, they decided, let us go to Abu Ayyub. He was working in his date garden, unaware that honor was walking toward him.
And then he heard the blessed voice.
He ran as if no one on earth was more fortunate than him that day. That day, he felt no king was richer than him. Why did you not bring only the ripe ones? He returned with a full cluster of dates, ripe, raw, and half-ripe together. I did not know which you would prefer, so I brought them all. Without delay, he prepared the best he had.
After the meal, tears filled his eyes in gratitude to Allah. For a long time, he carried a wish in his heart. And when the invitation was accepted, his heart overflowed with joy.
He went to the market and bought a small goat, Nahid, the best he could afford. The house filled with excitement. Today was a blessed day. But no one knew. A test was waiting behind this joy. They had watched their father carefully, and in innocence, they began to imitate. You be the goat! I will do what father did! And in a single moment, laughter stopped. The child realized something terrible had happened. Within seconds, the courtyard fell silent. And then she stepped outside. A scream rose in her chest, but she swallowed it. Today, the Messenger of Allah is coming. I cannot disturb his honor. And before her heart could steady, another tragedy struck. 2 fresh lives gone. But she held her tears like a stone inside her chest. Her husband returned, unaware of the storm that had passed. Her husband returned, unaware of the storm that had passed. Her husband returned, unaware of the storm that had passed.
And then, the honored guest arrived.